It's Saturday morning in 1974, Ohio. The tiles in the bathroom are avocado green. It's that familiar deep, murky green that you'd find in every house on every street that year. A clock radio from the bedroom down the hall is playing the Carpenters, tinny through a 2-inch speaker. The mirror is clouded over from the bath she just ran, and she's getting herself ready for an 11 o'clock wedding. Fast forward 30 minutes, and her hair was softer, thicker, and shinier than it had been in months, and she only spent 4 cents. Back then, there were many hair tricks that cost less than $2 in today's money. We'll discuss 10 hair tricks that saved women so much money but somehow vanished. Number 5 caused so much controversy, and number 1 was so effective that salon chains actually lobbied against the ingredients being sold in grocery stores. Trick 10: Lemon Juice Hair Dye. In the summer of the 1970s, teenage girls mixed fresh lemon juice with an equal amount of water and poured it into a spray bottle, working it through their damp, clean hair. Not the entire hair, just the part that caught the light, the parts she wanted to look like summer. Then they chit-chat on the back porch steps and let the sun do the rest. An hour later, their hair would be filled with gold streaks, no damage, but enough color to recreate the exact same sun-kissed look today at almost no cost. So save that $250 and get yourself a lemon and some sunlight. Only that summer heat has its own downside. Summer heat makes the scalp greasy a lot quicker, but the women of the 1970s had a fix for that as well. Trick 9: Cornstarch Shampoo. In the 1970s, most women only washed their hair once or twice a week, even in summer. Want to know their secret? Long before dry shampoo became a billion-dollar industry, Grandma had a brilliant idea. She got some corn flour from the kitchen cupboard, and no, she didn't pour it into the gravy. Instead, she scooped out a tablespoon, worked it into her roots with her fingertips. She let it sit for 2 minutes while she finished her coffee. Then she took her boar bristle brush and pulled it from root to end, drawing the powder and the oil out together. In no time, her hair was back to looking fresh. Some brunettes would even take it a step further and add some cocoa powder to the cornstarch, so the white residue fades naturally into the darker hair. Today, brands sell nearly the exact same idea for $20 to $30 a bottle, and the content has barely changed. Anyway, clean hair wasn't enough, and lighter hair was only half of it. They wanted volume, and you wouldn't believe how they got it. Trick 8: Overnight no-heat curls. In the 1970s, women used to go to bed and wake up the next morning with beautiful curls. That's because before a woman slept, she sat cross-legged in front of the television, watching her favorite sitcom before working her damp hair into sections, winding each one around a foam roller, or a strip torn from an old cotton pillowcase, or a pin curl coiled flat against the scalp and pinned with 2 crossed bobby pins. When every section was done, she tied a silk scarf over the whole arrangement, turned out the light, and went to sleep. By morning, it was perfect. The curls were set, soft waves, big volume. Today, we spend hundreds of dollars on curling tools while also buying separate products to repair the damage those same tools cause. In 1974, sleep did the work for free. Now, I know what you're thinking. Would those curls hold? Well, guess what? Grandma had a solution for that too. Trick 7: Sugar water as hairspray. Women stood at their bathroom mirrors in the morning with small bottles filled with a mixture of a tablespoonful of white sugar dissolved into warm tap water, lined beside their styling combs and bobby pins. Sometimes she added a few drops of her favorite scented oil. Before setting her pin curls each night, she worked a small amount through each section with her fingertips. Once dry, it held like concrete. She did this before social gatherings, family time out, or any events at all, because she knew that through a long, humid afternoon, through an evening out and the drive home with the windows down, it would still hold. No one could patent table sugar. That's why a bag of white sugar cost 19 cents then. And now a bottle of professional-grade curl-setting lotion can be priced at $40. Can you notice that pattern? Nothing's really changed. The information is just being recycled, renamed, repackaged, and sold back to us for 20 times the actual price. Have you seen those $60 hair mayonnaise products these days? The 70s had something to replace that. Trick 6: Mayonnaise Deep Conditioner. In the 1970s, jars of mayonnaise disappeared from kitchens to bathrooms for reasons that had absolutely nothing to do with sandwiches. Grandma scooped out a generous amount, probably half a cup, and worked it through damp hair with her fingers, starting at the ends and moving up toward the roots. Then she drew a plastic cap over the whole thing. Mayonnaise is a blend of egg yolk, oil, and vinegar. It deeply moisturizes and coats hair cuticles, leaving hair softer and smoother. A jar of mayonnaise cost about 30 cents in 1974, enough for a sandwich and a deep conditioning treatment. Those hair mayonnaise masks I brought up earlier, they'll run you about $60 a jar now. Same egg, same oil, same vinegar, just a prettier label. You'd think that having soft hair would be enough, but no, it wasn't. In the 70s, Grandma wanted her hair to bounce too. How do you think she'd pull that off? Trick 5. Flat beer conditioner. She got some good old beer, and no, she wasn't the one drinking. It was for her hair. People did all sorts of absurd things in the 70s, but beer? Her husband had probably left half a can of Pabst on the counter on Friday night and forgotten about it, but Grandma didn't forget. By the next morning, it was flat and room temperature, and she poured it into a bowl. After she shampooed, she tipped the bowl slowly over her hair and worked the beer through from roots to ends with her fingers. Hey, don't judge until you see the results, after she left it sit and then rinsed with cool water. The proteins in the malt had already coated each strand. The B vitamins also settled into the hair. The smell of beer had faded within minutes, but it was replaced with a lasting fine glow and weight that no mousse or volumizing spray can match. A can of Pabst Blue Ribbon cost 15 cents in 1974. A bottle of salon-grade protein treatment can cost up to $65 today. The proteins are the same, the other difference is the label. This is the most uncomfortable but highly effective hack on this list. Some people still swear by it today, but others can't get past the smell. Trick 4. Onion juice. This one was recommended in whispers, not because it was dangerous, but because the smell was terrible. But that wasn't enough reason to stop her from dropping red onions into a blender and strained through cheesecloth until all that remained was a sharp-smelling liquid nobody wanted anywhere near their hair. It was a sacrifice, but many women did it anyway. They massaged it directly into the scalp, wrapped their hair in towels, and waited. The smell lingered, the jokes followed, but so did the results. Onions are naturally rich in sulfur, one of the building blocks involved in healthy hair structure. That explains why her hair felt thicker, stronger, and fuller after months of consistent use. 2 red onions cost pennies. Today, the bottled onion juice serums and sulfur hair growth treatments built on the exact same idea run $25 to $40 a bottle. It's so controversial, yet every few years it comes back, goes viral again, making us ask the uncomfortable question, why does it keep working? Onion was good until beauty magazines started promising something even more seductive, thicker, and fuller hair. The kind of volume that would turn heads. That's when they discovered this big secret. Trick 3. Castor oil for thickness. In 1974, castor oil sat on pharmacy shelves for loose change beside rubbing alcohol and aspirin. The only people who knew its true hidden superpowers were the ladies, and they put them to good use. Long before overpriced miracle hair growth products, castor oil was the real deal. A few drops on the fingertips worked slowly into thinning edges, dry ends, and brittle lashes. Ladies swore their hair looked fuller after weeks of use. Not because castor oil magically transformed the hair overnight, but because the heavy oil-coated fragile strands so thoroughly that the hair appeared thicker, denser, and healthier almost immediately. The closer you look, the more you realize that less is more. Because some of the most effective tricks on this list will cost you absolutely nothing. No purchase, no stress, no new product, just time. Trick 2. Hot oil treatment. On winter evenings in the 1970s, small bowls of oil sat warming gently in pots of hot water beside kettles steaming on kitchen stoves. But what was in these small bowls? Carrier oils like olive oil, coconut oil, whatever was already in the house. Women carried the warm bowls carefully into the bathroom and massaged the oil slowly into their hair, covering it up in plastic bags. After she washed it out, twice with shampoo because the oil was generous, her hair was still softer than it had been all week. The split ends that had been fraying at the tips were smooth flat. Sounds familiar? And it's the very same thing being sold today as deep moisture repair treatments and hot oil therapy sessions, except now it'll set you back $150. Now to number 1, it was so cheap and so effective that the industry saw it as a genuine threat. Trick 1, rosemary tea rinse. Grandma always kept a sprig of rosemary in a clay pot on the kitchen windowsill. It had been there for years. She used it in roast chicken and in her hair and felt no contradiction in that. On wash night, she brought a cup of water to a simmer in the small saucepan, added a fresh sprig of rosemary and a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and let it go for 20 minutes with the lid on. The kitchen smelled like a garden in July. She strained the liquid through cheesecloth into a jar, let it cool to room temperature, and brought it to the bathroom. After shampooing, she poured the tea slowly over her scalp and massaged it in with her fingertips for 2 to 3 minutes. Slow circles from the nape of the neck to the hairline. The same motion she used every morning without anything in her hands at all. She towel dried without rinsing it out, but we forgot until science started catching up. A study published in the Journal of Clinical, Cosmetic, and Investigational Dermatology found that rosemary oil performed comparably to minoxidil in stimulating hair growth. Minoxidil treatments run between $30 and $60 a month, and rosemary tea costs far less.